What is up, guys? It's Jake from Quad Hunting, and this is our college football Week 9 edition. So this week it's Hate Week, U of M versus MSU, and it's not as big as it should be this year. It's kind of disappointing. So I'm going to talk to Savannah and Colin both about their thoughts on that and why it's not a big deal this year, and get Colin's thoughts on MSU season this year and get Savannah's thoughts on U of M. So without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, guys, and now we are joined by Colin Vonk, our MSU analyst. It's been a while, but now we're back for arguably what was supposed to be one of the most important football games of the season. It's not kind of that way anymore.
Not as much hype anymore. Yeah, that's what happens when one team falls away. Bottom falls out.
Michigan comes into the game with a perfect record. State comes in with 2-5. 2-5.
Yep.
You can kind of, I guess, blame it on me. I was rooting for State to be good this year up until this weekend, and because I was rooting for them, they've been losing. It kind of happens with the teams I root for.
Yeah.
Every time I've rooted for State, they've lost. In my life.
Well, you should stop doing that.
I need to do it more. I'm not wearing any green, though. So I'm going to let you just take it away on your thoughts for the season. What's going wrong? How are the wheels falling off, and why are they falling off?
Well, there's not a lot going right? I mean, the defense has fallen apart even completely since maybe after the Indiana game, all the games after, Northwestern, BYU, Maryland, the defenses really looked just very, very bad, which we haven't seen under D'Antonio, really. I mean, we've had years where the secondary hasn't been good, but at least parts of the defense have always been good. But injuries at the linebacker position are really hurting them a lot of injuries. The secondary has just really been suspect lately. We've been shuffling guys in and out. Even some true freshmen have played. We've got a converted receiver on the corner. We're trying all kinds of different combinations of players in the secondary to see who matches up the best. It's really just been a struggle. The defensive line just looks inexperienced. I thought that they'd be okay, even though we lost a lot in the offseason. We had, I think, 3 or 4 players transfer out. A couple had academic issues and had to leave the program. And those are 2 pretty promising players. Montez Sweat and Craig Evans, I believe is their name. And we're seeing the effects in the trenches. We just can't get back to the level we're used to seeing out of MSU D-line. And, really just lacking in a lot of areas. Hopefully we can get right the ship, and we're going to play a lot of freshmen, I saw D'Antonio said. A lot of young players this week, and see if they can take over. And the offensive side is just got a lot of holes also. It's sad because I think our skill positions are actually decent. Our receivers haven't been terrible. I mean, I think they've been getting open a decent amount. It's just the quarterbacks either can't hit them or they've been getting a little too much pressure because the offensive line hasn't been good. And the running back position is very good. I think our stable of running backs is better than it has been maybe ever under D'Antonio. Usually we have 2 good backs. We have 3 pretty darn good backs this year. And a good fullback we transferred in, who I like a lot. But kind of hard to do anything when you're a back when you don't have an offensive line that's gelling and you can't consistently throw the ball, which we can't at all. And
that sounds like some Lions fans talking.
Oh, I know. And play calling has been just terrible, just horribly inconsistent. When we need a big play, we don't call it. When we don't need one, we'll throw it deep. It's just no one on this team understands momentum, and that's what it's looked like all year, really all year. Ever since we let the gas off in the Notre Dame game, it just really looks like no one is playing with energy, no one's playing with excitement.
That's kind of where the downfall started taking place, is right after that, right in the middle of that Notre Dame game. Because after that, you guys haven't won since then.
No.
And it's not looking like you guys are going to win much down the road either.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, I don't – other than Rutgers at home, I don't really see another W on the – how we're looking now, I don't see a W on the schedule, really. I mean, even Penn State, which we kind of dominated Penn State under D'Antonio. Penn State has not done much, especially once they with all the scandals going on there. After all that stuff expired, we really were handling them pretty well. So, but even that looks like a loss right now. I don't see that.
Yeah, after how they played against Ohio State, with Ohio State losing the game.
So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I don't feel like this is a team that's not talented. I think there is some talent out there in some of the young players. Donnie Corley, the receiver from Detroit, looks really good, and he looks. I wish we could give him the ball more because he's talented. He's got a lot of moves. He's very fast. And R.J. Shelton in the slot's having a really good senior year. But we knew he was a good player, but he's having a very good senior year. Our running backs are good. We have speed out there. We have some size. This team is just so flat. There is just no energy. I really think we're starting to see the side effects of losing Pat Narduzzi to Pitt, because we didn't think it was a big deal last year because everything was good, but I just think that was still residuals from when he was there. I think now that you're 2 years out, you're really seeing I think he always brought that energy. He always was in the press box during games, but you see a lot during fourth quarters, he'd come down onto the field to give the players extra energy and get them all fired up and stuff like that, and you're just not seeing that in the program at all. And I really am starting to get sick of this co-offensive and co-defensive coordinator.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's a lack of leadership, I think, and it's weird.
Too many people trying to steer the ship.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Who do you go to when there's an issue now? That's the biggest problem. You got two different people with two different points of view trying to tell you what to do, and these guys are.
And they're supposed to be the same level of power.
Yeah. Yes, of course. And these guys are still responsible for their position groups. Mike Tressel and Harlan Barnett are our two defensive co-coordinators. But they're still the linebackers coach, I believe, and the secondary coach like they were before they got bumped up. They're still those coaches, but they also have extra responsibilities now with this co-coordinator. I think it's just too much on the plate because, when those guys were just their coordinators, the position coaches, our linebackers have always been very good under D'Antonio. Our secondary at first had some problems, but once we started getting better recruiting in there, I think Harlan Barnett did a very, very good job with that, getting the gel together. We had a couple of years there when you've got Trey Waynes and Darquez Denard at the ends, and we were almost the no-fly zone. Everybody thought that. It was very good. And to see everything fall off the table, I think it's just a lack of leadership, and it's really...
you've seen that in the NFL, you see that a lot where a good offensive or a good defensive coordinator gets moved up to head coach, and then they just flame out. Rod Marinelli's a great name for that.
Yeah.
Because he was a great defensive coordinator, got hired in as a Lions head coach, bombed terribly, and now he's a great defensive coordinator again.
Yeah.
He took the Dallas Cowboys that one year and totally revitalized a terrible defense, and they played well. Some people can do it and move up into the head coaching ranks or move from positional to a coordinator, but then just some people can't. They're just not equipped enough to do it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. It's hard to even say that they wouldn't be decent coordinators if it was just them.
Just them, yeah.
I don't really know. I'd like to say yes they could because I like some of these coaches, and now the problem is what do you do? How do you make a change? Do you demote one and expect him to coach? To not feel embarrassed or like he didn't do a good job. It's really, and you fire one who were these are guys that have been on D'Antonio's staff for a long time and have done a very good job in their positions. So do you just let someone like a Mike Tressel or Barnett or we have Warner and Bowman on the offensive side who have done some good things? Do you let them go? And that would seem like a waste too. It's just we're in a big pickle when it comes to the staff and we hired this new special teams coordinator also I think 2 years ago. And our special teams has been awful since ever he's come in. So everybody said how good he was supposed to be, but it was really lackluster. We don't cover kicks very great. This year's been a little better than last year. Covering kicks last year was a huge problem, but we've seemed to given up in returns, especially on the punt. We have I don't even know if he's I think he's an on-scholarship player, but he might have been a walk-on. I think he was a walk-on, and Stewart's is his name, taking punts back right now, and I don't think I've seen him return one yet. All he does is fair catch and hand the ball to the ref and go back. It's like we've given up because we don't think any of our playmakers can handle the role. It's just there's a lot of puzzling things going on, and it's really the bottom's just really falling out.
So I want to get your thoughts on the quarterbacks for Michigan State. Last couple weeks, it's been D'Antoni saying all three of them are the number one quarterback. There's no... Myself personally, I don't think that system works. A multiple quarterback system where you're trying to... How do you decide when one needs to be pulled out, another one needs to come in? It's not like a running back or wide receiver. You need the same quarterback on the field the whole time. At least let them gel a little bit. I feel like that's an issue with State trying to say all three of them are getting practice reps at number one. I haven't watched the game, so I don't know. Have all three of them been playing in the games, or has it just been...
I didn't watch all of the Maryland game. I had I was keeping up to date in the game, but pretty much the whole game though. And I believe we only played one quarterback. I think Brian Lewerke played that whole game, our redshirt freshman.
So do you think they just need to be done with the O'Connor thing?
I think his time passed.
At this point, I mean it's a losing season. You're not looking at a bowl game. Why not just throw out a freshman out there, see what they can do?
Yeah.
Just so,
and I think that's going to happen. I think Lewerke's going to start the rest of the year, barring massive failures, turnovers, stuff like that. But I think the experience could be good for him. He's got a really big arm, and at times he makes nice throws. He just, like our offense, has not been consistent enough to score touchdowns. And I mean, I feel like our offense doesn't have a tremendous amount of 3 and outs. We get some first downs. We always stall around the 50 or just over, and then it's very consistent this year with stalling. It's hard to watch.
That was a Michigan fan complaint a couple years ago when Devin Gardner was still taking snaps at quarterback. When we had these other guys, we knew we weren't going to go far. We weren't going to do hardly anything after the first couple losses of the season. A lot of people were clamoring for like Shane Morris to come in, or now Spate, now who's starting, but Brady Hoke was stubborn, stuck with Gardner throughout the rest of the season, and
didn't pay off at all.
I mean, at that point, we were only a couple losses into the season. State's now obviously a little bit deeper into the season where experimenting, I think, at quarterback is probably the best thing they can do. Figure out what these young guys can give you before you make a decision on
Try to look to next year.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be valuable, really, really invaluable experience that he's getting right now.
So, the city of Lansing's going to burn this weekend either way.
I guess, right?
Yeah, because if State loses, I mean, it's going to be...
Maybe, we'll see. The loss is kind of expected. I mean, I've heard... I don't know if this is all true, but I've heard reports that a lot of tickets are for sale from the State side.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And we'll see.
We looked yesterday. $100 gets you down pretty close to the field. A ticket. Yeah. And it's pretty insane for the U of M MSU game that they're going that cheap.
Yep. I really hope that we'll see how the attendance is. I hope those people that are selling their tickets, if they don't sell, because I'm sure all of them won't. If what I've heard is right, that there's that many for sale, I still hope they at least go, because I would really hate to see it half blue and gold. That would amazing.
That would be awful for State.
That would be sad.
Now, if State wins, though, the entire city of Lansing's still going to burn because there's going to be so many couches that lose their lives this weekend.
Oh, yeah. If we win, oh my gosh, there's going to be a forest fire up here.
I mean, I said before we started recording that this game, it does make me nervous as a Michigan fan because I just think so many Michigan fans are starting to look past State, whatever, onto Ohio State. That's the only game that matters. And as football fans, we know that kind of thinking is dangerous.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous because Ohio State thankfully did take a loss this last weekend. So a loss to Michigan, we can still do something. But for it to go the way we need it to go this year, we have to remain perfect.
Pretty much. You control your own destiny now.
We control our own destiny. If we go perfect, we're automatically in.
That's the great thing with Penn State beating Ohio State. You control your own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we take a loss and we're right back into that position where we're battling with Ohio State, and it comes down to that last weekend in November. But
it's in
Columbus
too. So
yep, our two big rivalry games this year are in East Lansing and Columbus. I've wanted State to be good this year for Michigan because I thought I didn't think Michigan was going to be as good as they've been, and I didn't think State was going to be as bad as they've been. I wanted it to come in two similarly competitive teams because when State and Michigan are both good, that's when football is great.
Oh yeah,
That's
For
when
sure.
this. I mean, because this year, I can already hear the excuses coming in from Spartan fans if they lose about how this year, well, it wasn't supposed to, like, we weren't good this year. You should beat us. And then I don't want to hear the Michigan fans either coming off though as, well, State's little brother again. I don't want to hear. I hate that talk. I've never been one of the boastful fans, and you've known that, where I'm going to come out and just trash the other team just to trash them. I mean, I'll give you crap every once in a while, and I'll give.
Oh well, yeah, that's just joshing between friends. It's not...
Yeah, but I'm not going to go up to a random State fan and be like, "Oh, your team sucks."
Oh yeah.
Like, I've always just wanted it to be competitive because it's between two competitive teams. You don't hear so much about the little brother and the big brother, and well, we're supposed to lose this. You're supposed to win it. It's more. I almost want to say it's more civil between the fan bases.
Yeah, or at least it should be.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like Michigan was rated 2 and State's rated 3, it wouldn't be civil at all. But
that'd be insane.
That would be insane. Ohio State 1, Michigan 2.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna have to ask you for your prediction. As much as it may pain you. 30-10 Michigan.
And Michigan, yeah.
So it's not gonna set any modern records for the most points scored.
No.
It's not gonna be Rutgers, Michigan.
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't think so. Just because of the rivalry.
That's why, like, this State has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Michigan, if they lose, they're not out of the playoff picture, but then they have to pray that they can beat Ohio State in Columbus.
Yeah.
So there's more riding on this game, I think, than people want to say there is.
Yeah.
Like, this year, I've just not heard so much talk about. This is hate week, and you don't hear hardly anything about it.
No, because I think it's just part of one side of the hate is kind of down. I really think that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Just lackluster in the Spartan fans' minds right now. Because I mean, no one. I don't think anybody expects to win or even expects to be. I mean, I don't want to say close because some people think we can hold our own because it is the rivalry, but.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Michigan's an 18.5-point favorite as of right now.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, I predicted to win by 20. I mean, I don't think that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's about right for the point spread, and that just says a lot right there about why this game isn't as hyped up as it probably would have been nice to see it. I mean, really, I was really excited in the offseason because this is Jim Harbaugh's first time coming to Spartan Stadium.
Mm-hmm. And this year it might be more Michigan fans at Spartan Stadium than there is State fans.
And I was really hoping I could see it, the hype. I wanted to hear the boos when they first announced his name and stuff. And I think a lot of that still going to happen, but it's going to be
a lot quieter than it would have been.
And I mean, just look, it's a noon kickoff. I mean, we haven't, there's just a lot of it's just kind of, and it used to be the big game. Even
when Michigan was down and State was competitive, it was still a big game because for whatever reason, Michigan was still high up on the media's totem pole. Yeah, State was working that way up. I mean, Michigan, even when Michigan was bad, they were never considered to be an awful football team.
Yeah, when State's down like this, it's definitely worse for the rivalry than it's about as bad as it can get.
Mm-hmm. When State's bad, it's worse for the rivalry than when Michigan is bad.
Quite as big, yeah. So there's just not quite as much excitement.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's anything else to talk about this week. Trying to be nice to you because I understand what it's like to be on the bad side of a rivalry.
Down, don't kick me down.
I won't kick you too hard.
What is up, guys? We are now back here with Savannah for our U of M analyst. And now I'm just going to open the floor and you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I know you were at the game this last Saturday, so you can start with that.
I was. They looked really good. I mean, their defense was looking phenomenal like usual. One thing that's really upsetting me lately is whenever I see Peppers in at quarterback, they run the same play. And it's literally he gets the snap, fakes the handoff, and runs.
Then takes off himself.
And it's really annoying because if any team is smart and watches film, which every team does.
I'll counter that after you talk about it, so go
okay,
ahead.
Mostly every team does. You're going to see the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you see Jabril Peppers taking a snap, you're going to expect him to run one of the ways. So your line should be ready.
As a coach, though, you could see that as them doing that over and over again. And Harbaugh could be like, well, now they know that's what's going to happen. They can change it up, throw a trick play in there, and actually have Peppers throw it and not have the defense be prepared for it.
That's definitely what I'm waiting for, but I haven't seen it yet in however many snaps he's taken. Because, I mean, he took, 3 or 4 this past game? He's taken 3 or 4 every game, so I haven't seen it yet. And I really was expecting it in the Wisconsin game, almost because of how close that game ended up being. But, I mean, maybe he'll pull it out this week. Maybe he'll pull it out against the big boys.
Ohio State. Because if State Michigan is a game, I can see maybe there, because that's not a play you want to just throw out there against in Illinois or against you want to throw it out against a team where you need it, where you need that surprise. And
my biggest thing is I feel like he needs to at least throw that in once, either this week if Michigan State's defense shows up and everything, and just kind of show and give Peppers a chance to do it in a game-like situation. Where they don't know and everything.
Well, I can see the benefit of not doing it yet, just because if they want him to do it, Ohio State would be perfect to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But but going along with how he's supposed to be this great athlete, we're seeing it everywhere else. Yeah. But Harbaugh's saying he can throw the ball, and we haven't seen him throw the ball yet. So.
And I mean, you don't have to go right down the field, long, deep pass. He can just start throwing quick little screens, and he'll be fine. But just get him out there and get him in a game situation against the big boys and show that he can execute this. And maybe that'll even bump him up for the Heisman.
Maybe, because that's his one knock, is he's good at a lot of things, but he hasn't done one thing great.
Yes, exactly. And also at the game, there was a little fiasco that I meant to tell you about earlier in the week, but I didn't.
So this is the first time I'm hearing this too. So
me and my friend were like, we're gonna leave middle of third quarter if it's a blowout, and it was a blowout because we both had plans back at home and stuff, and we wanted to try and beat traffic. And I mean, it was just boring because
blowouts are boring.
Those games are just boring. So I was wearing my vest. And my vest has a little inside pocket, but it only has a little patch of Velcro, probably that big. And I put my key in there, just my key, because I don't want to carry that giant lanyard around with me. And so we leave the middle of the third quarter, and we walk all the way back to my car. It's probably a 15-minute walk from the stadium. It's not too far, but it's far enough where it's a little bit of a hike. And I go to get into my car, and I don't have my key. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I call my uncle, because my uncle was still in the stadium. I'm like, did you by chance leave yet? And he's like, we literally just walked out of the stadium. Why, what's up? And I'm like, my key is missing. And he's like, well, go back in the stadium, explain the situation. Usually you're not supposed to re-enter, but maybe they'll let you because, it's a car key. They can't just be like, no. So he's like, go check at the seats and then everything. And because I took it off during the game and put it underneath, but I'm like, it'll be secure in there because my other pockets were buttons, and I didn't. I was wearing jeggings, and they don't have front pockets. Yep. And so I was like, so we went all the way back into the stadium, and I jumped right underneath, and the guys a couple rows above us was like, are you looking for a key? And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a key. Give me this key. And he's like, some guy just took it to the lost and found. That's the one thing I don't know where this is in the stadium. Luckily, it was right outside. I asked one of the ushers. I'm like, hey, where's lost and found? He's like, oh, right down there. So I go down there and I'm like, hey, I lost a car key. Do you guys have a car key? It's a black Ford key, black, just the key. It doesn't have. It's not one of the newer key fobs that has the unlock and everything on it. It's just a key. And she's like, okay, I need more description. Is it on a key ring? I'm like, no, it's no key ring at all. It's just a key, black with silver, Ford. And she's like, so it's not on a key ring? I'm like, no, it has no key ring on it at all. And she's like, okay, so we have 2 identical ones. So she pulls out the 2 keys. And luckily, the other guy that lost his other Ford Focus key had a very, the original key ring on it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been going home. So, yeah.
Or you would have run one down there, tried to start it. Not it. Run back up. Get the other one.
And so, we got out. We left the stadium at the end of the game. Yeah, so that was
Gotta
my
love
fun.
when that kind of stuff happens.
That was my fun adventure. I kind of blacked out what even happened in the game because I was so stressed and panicking about this.
For sure.
I'm like, I'm an hour and a half away. I have plans at 8:30 at home. I'm like, my dad's not going to want to drive all the way out here. My aunt and uncle just moved out to Ann Arbor, so they're not going to want to drive all the way back there because they used to live in Romeo, which is 8 miles away from me. So I could have just hitched a ride with them, came back Sunday and got it. But I'm like, I'm going to be screwed if I don't have this key. I'm like, ah. But luckily I was able to find it and everything.
So this weekend it's hate week this week.
It is hate week this week.
But it's been a very quiet hate week this year.
Yeah, and it's kind of really sad.
Sparty's kind of hiding.
Well, when you're 0-5 in the Big Ten,
and 2-5 in the whole year. 2-5 the whole
0-5.
year.
Yeah, you kind of would be quiet.
I was talking to Colin earlier, and I made mention. I said, when Michigan was bad, this game was still hyped huge.
Yeah.
I said, but when State is bad, he goes, oh, it's quiet. We're not saying anything. He goes, and I said, I think it has to do with how Michigan's perceived in the national media. Even if we're bad, we're still Michigan. Whereas State hasn't built up all that credit that Michigan has built up over the years.
Yeah, definitely.
To where even State was great for the last 5 to 7 years, and they still weren't getting a lot of national media as much as Michigan was when Michigan was bad.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think a big thing of it is that they're almost kind of arrogant, and not all of them, but some. Mostly the trash talkers will get like this. And
that's true for every team.
Yes, exactly. Like, I'll admit, a lot of arrogant Michigan fans were the ones saying stuff.
I hate arrogant Michigan fans. I got a story to tell you a little bit after
I do
whatever
too.
But
I feel like they know that they're just going to get absolutely slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of don't even want to say anything. They don't want to start anything because they'll know Michigan fans are going to have facts to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a lot of the time the roles are reversed when it's State being bad in the year, because Michigan fans would still talk. They'll still hype this game up. They'll still believe that Michigan would have a chance.
But throughout this history, we always have had a chance.
Yes, but like State, like, they'll just be quiet and they won't say one word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if they're good,
they'll be.
all hell breaks loose.
I was listening to a local radio station. I won't mention the name because they're awful. But the one host is a huge Michigan fan. The other one's a huge State fan. And the State fan was staying quiet, wasn't really talking much. He was even saying, like, State's going to lose. It's going to happen. But the Michigan fan was just going hard on him about how, well, Michigan should win. It's just going to be a blowout. It's going to set modern-day records. Little brother's not in contention anymore. Little brother this, little brother that.
Oh, of course, it's the little brother.
And myself, I told Colin this too. I'm like, I'm nervous as hell about this game. I said, Michigan's favored to win by 18 points. I said, I don't care if they're favored to win by 50. It's Michigan State.
Yes,
it's a rivalry
and
game.
Especially it's in
and
Spartan
right now,
Stadium.
this year, State has nothing to lose. Michigan right now controls their own destiny getting into the playoffs.
Yes.
Ohio State lost over the weekend to Penn State, meaning our road to the Big Ten championship
is
clear. We win out. There's no competition for us until the Big Ten championship game.
And I feel like, again, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like with Michigan State being 0-5 in the Big Ten, they're looking for that one opportunity.
They want nothing more than to screw up Michigan's season.
They want nothing more to screw that up, and they want to get that first Big Ten win. And if that one Big Ten win is against Michigan, their season will be a complete season.
Yeah, it won't be a failure season like it's been so far.
Yes.
If they beat Michigan, they're good.
Yes.
They're fine. They're happy.
Yes, and I fully believe D'Antonio is not a dumb coach.
No, he's not.
D'Antonio is a great coach, and he's going to pull out all of his weapons. He's going to pull out
every trick
no
he
one
knows.
has ever seen. I guarantee you they're going to do their typical fake field goals and everything. They're going to pull all that stuff out, all their special teams tricks.
Because he knows he's playing with house money right now.
Yes.
If he loses this game, well, you're expected to lose it.
Yes.
If they win this game, they were not expected. It's a huge upset. It ruins Michigan's season.
Literally everything is going to just get blown up.
Mm-hmm. I told Colin, I said,
Lansing's going to burn Sunday morning no matter what. I said, because if they lose, I said, then you're going to have all the Michigan fans coming down on them being like, oh, yeah, you guys suck.
You're also going to have to look at the Antonio with an 0-6 season.
But I said, if they win, that city is getting lit on fire by all the couches that they're burning.
Oh, yeah. And I just had a train of thought. And then the only thing that we would have to do is just pray that there's a way that we could, but there would not be a way that we could get a 3-way tie.
Nope.
And we would just,
we'd probably be the one with the short end of the stick, missing out on the Big Ten championship. Because now, Nebraska's undefeated on the other side of the division, or the other side of the conference.
I'm so happy about that.
They do play Ohio State and Wisconsin They play Wisconsin then Ohio State. So
I know. I'm excited.
They're gonna be like looking really good, or they're all of a sudden gonna be 2 losses in and out of the contention.
Yeah, but I feel like the West usually is a pretty weak division. Mm-hmm. Well, it's good within itself, but then against
they beat each other up.
Yes, but then against other teams, when you get outside of the West, they don't look good.
Yeah, when Iowa's in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, when like an Iowa matches up with a Michigan or
State.
or the
like
Michigan
the Big Ten championship game last year. Iowa was dominating, but then as soon as you put them against the big boys, they just got annihilated.
So what is your final score prediction for this game?
I want to say 26-6. Michigan's defense has been looking really good. They let up that touchdown against Illinois, but I wasn't in the stadium. I couldn't tell you how it happened. So, but from what I saw, their defense is looking good. Michigan State's offense is not looking good at all. I'm predicting that Michigan's going to get a safety. And I'm also predicting that we're only going to kick 1 field goal, and then we're going to have the 3 touchdowns.
So you're actually, along with Colin, you're predicting a 20-point win for Michigan. Colin thought it would be a little more high scoring. He put it at 30-10.
Okay, yeah, I could see that though. I could definitely see
more
that.
of it's going to be.
I trust Michigan State's defense to hold us.
A little more.
That's why I'm kind of lowballing it. I don't think Michigan's offense
is definitely not going to be a Rutgers game
to roll all over them. One thing, going back to the Illinois game, I forgot to mention this. One thing I did like is at the end of the, I think it might have been the end of the 3rd quarter, or it was the end of the 2nd quarter, or I don't know. It was one of the ends of the quarters. We had the opportunity to score. We easily could have gotten into the end zone, but Harbaugh chose to kick the field goal. And me and my uncle was like, Illinois, stop him, Illinois. Like, he was cheering for Illinois that drive because he wanted to see them kick that field goal because they hadn't kicked a field goal in so long. And my uncle's like, dude, they need that practice, especially with Michigan State and then Ohio State in a couple weeks.
You need to make sure your kicker's going to go.
And especially with the game that he had in Wisconsin with 3 missed field goals. Obviously, it wasn't all him. Yep. But he still missed one, and our freshman, or he's either a freshman or a sophomore, because I know our true redshirt, I think he was a redshirt freshman. He missed 2, and then our true freshman wasn't even dressed to kick.
Yep.
But they need that practice in a game. And my uncle literally went crazy, and I'm like, Uncle Chuck, you need to chill. I'm like, it's okay. But I do agree that they needed to do that, so I'm happy they did that, but...
And one thing, even though Michigan is 2nd in the country right now, I think 50 points a game is what they're averaging.
Yeah, I think something like that.
It's something high like that.
Yeah.
It's either it's high 40s or low 50s points a game.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh's not running the score up on anyone.
No.
Even like when you look at Rutgers, that 78-0 win, he ran the ball like the entire second half.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't like trick plays. It was they're running it right up the middle every time, and they just couldn't stop him. No one's been able to stop that.
But like,
they go in the conservative offense mode.
As a coach, what are you supposed to do? Tell your guys to tackle your own guy? Like,
and he had third string. He had like third and fourth stringers running in those plays too, and they were still breaking off huge runs. So
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but it's not like he's keeping all his first strings in and like being like, all right, we're scoring as much as we can this game.
Yep. So no, it's people have been asking, like, does he do it to State? He's not going to do it to State. If there's one team you do it to, it's Ohio State.
I could see him running the score up a little.
I mean, I think he would want maybe like a 4 touchdown lead. I think he'd run it up to that.
Yes.
I don't think he would run it up to like
57-3.
Oh, no. I don't think he'd do
I think
that.
if he'd get it up to like 30-3, he'd be like, all right, just
well, it all depends on where it's at in the game, too.
Yeah.
Because obviously you don't want to see him have that comeback like they did last year, and then within 10 seconds the whole
But if they're up by
game.
like 25 points going into the third or fourth,
he's gonna be more
he'll go
conservative,
conservative,
and that'll be perfectly fine, especially if Michigan State's defense doesn't show up and they still decide to run, and they still decide that they don't want to tackle our guys and just let us keep scoring. I mean, that'd be nice. I'll take that.
I think that's it for this week. There's a lot in that one.
Yeah, there is.
It's a lot more than normal. This is going to be a long episode. I haven't even done Notre Dame's talk yet.
Okay, but it's Michigan
It's
State
hate week.
Yeah,
it's hate
exactly.
Week. You have to.
It's the first hate week of the season.
Yep.
So, I mean,
And the next one, and sadly, it's not as important as it should be this year, but
oh, well, the good
hopefully
thing,
Sparty can turn it around for next year.
I know the good thing is though is I'm not going to be able to watch the game this Saturday. I'm going up to Tech, so
I'm working, so
yeah, so it'll be kind of good. Like, I'll be able to follow it, but I'm almost happy that they're kind of sucking because we kind of know the prediction. But I'll be able just to score update it, and it's not like
Hopefully.
they're number one in the country and we're number 2 again. So
maybe that'll happen later on this year, though, if Alabama falters.
I want to see Ohio State and Michigan be back to number 1 and number 2 and see those battles.
I think this is the start of another 10-year war between Meyer and Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine if Meyer had a season like D'Antonio?
He'd retire again.
Oh, I think when losing 3 in a row, he'd be like, I'm gone. Yep. Ohio State would fire him, and he'd be like, I'm gone.
I don't know if they'd fire him because he's been, he had those 2 undefeated seasons right in a row. But I feel like if he had a bad season, he'd just be like, I'm going to retire to spend more time with my family, like he did at Florida.
Yeah.
And then, Ohio State opened up, and he ran to Ohio State.
Yeah.
So
I still kind of, I'm curious to see what Michigan would have done if they got him. But coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yep.
I love Jim Harbaugh.
I love Jim Harbaugh too.
Not complaining at all.
So that's it for Michigan. We'll be getting into Notre Dame right now.